I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We're calling a draw.
man.
Just a flesh wound, 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 just a flesh wound.
What up, guys? Hey,
up, dudes?
fellas.
Hey girl,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Garry, you were doing an interview today, right?
Today?
Yeah, I think you posted something about talking about
Oh, no,
Sharknado.
they released it today.
Oh, okay,
I actually did the interview like a couple days ago.
gotcha.
Sharknado the movie?
I mean, you mean
That-
Sharknado the Legacy? Sharknado the most important piece of human history, theatric existence.
How many Sharknado movies are in existence? Speaking of existence.
It's a good-
Gary, you're killing me here
I
with
think
your
they-
movie
What?
taste. You're killing me with your movie
Oh.
taste.
Listen, let me explain something to you. Sharknado 1, Sharknado 2 were beautiful works of cinematic art. Anything after that, I don't know. I didn't follow anymore. I mean, you can only run with that so far.
I stopped hanging out with a girl because of that movie. We were going through her Apple TV selections, and I saw more than one Sharknado movie that was purchased, and I was just like,
Red
really?
flags everywhere.
She tried to play it off like it was a joke, but she had two.
It
So,
is a joke,
yeah.
though. That's the whole point. It's ironic. It's B-list movies. Like you have to it's so stupid that it's funny and it's beautiful. Like
Bro,
I like bad movies. I'm not buying two of them though.
yeah, you buy one as a joke, and then if
Yeah,
you have two,
I wanted-
it's not a joke anymore.
dude, but we were talking about Human Centipede 1, 2, and 3, and I got to 3, bro. Like
Yeah, but you're a different breed of human being.
You know what I watched last night? Talladega Nights. That
Yeah.
movie is fucking hilarious.
I'm so surprised you haven't seen that until now.
Oh no! I
No.
own it on my
Oh,
Apple.
you just
I was
watched
I
it
went back
again.
to watch it.
But dude,
Yeah, I
my
just watched
heart
it again.
was
Like this
about
is
to
still
stop.
great.
I thought you were saying that you had never watched it before.
Oh no!
Dude,
Oh, the movie's great.
I think the dinner scene is one of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen in cinema history. Where
Is
he's
that when
talking
they're
about
doing
the baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Um,
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. Dude, that's amazing, man.
So
Have you guys
good.
seen they are an awesome duo. Have you guys seen Step Brothers?
Of course.
That's
Oh,
another
fuck.
amazing movie.
See,
You
now
guys
that's
are good.
absolute
that's
brilliant.
reason to stop seeing a chick if she hasn't seen Step Brothers or Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody asks me what my favorite movie is, I go, I don't know, but Will Ferrell was in it.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know, but Will Ferrell was in 3 of them.
Talking about Wills, I'm super excited today because Will Smith just released a new remix on a song that Joyner Lucas did, and his bars are fire,
If it's not a remake of Welcome to Miami, I don't want to hear it.
dude. Man, he's back. He's back.
He's actually really talented. I'm surprised his music didn't do better than it did.
I got chills listening to the song, dude.
Yeah, he's good, man.
He's good. He's good. Anyways, you guys watch the UFC?
I didn't see the one that was midweek, but I saw the last one, most recent one, I think.
Chris, did you catch the one midweek?
I saw bits of both. I didn't watch.
Oh my God,
I was less excited for those two than I was for their first one that came out. Cause like no fights in fucking months, and I watched the whole thing, which I've
Yeah.
never done. These two I was less excited.
The main event was very hard to watch. Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith.
Breaking his teeth out of his face.
Man, that guy caught a beating.
Glover's a bad dude. Bad dude.
He weathered the storm because it was weird because his they were blaming the absence of people and the absence of sound for overcoaching, because his coaches were going corner to corner, just nonstop instructions, nonstop, and you could hear it crystal clear. And Anthony Smith was reacting like on the spot. Like everything that the coaches were saying to throw, he was throwing, and it was kind of like he was wearing himself out, man. His output in the first like 2 rounds was ridiculous.
So it's like frantic, just like a frantic pace.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
crazy pace, and
Do you
Glover
believe
just
that-
weathered the storm.
You believe it might be the case, just based off of what you just said, that his output was affected by the fact that he could hear the cornering too clearly. So then he just started to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to listen to everything that my coaches have to say.
I think he was reacting to some of the stuff that the coaches were saying, and without without the fans drowning out some of the instructions, I think he was going harder than maybe what he would usually go.
That's
with
really
fans.
interesting. I never really considered that as a not necessarily as a possibility, but I never considered that as a potential problem for being able to hear corner advice too well. Because I mean, in my sport, like in jiu-jitsu, like there's some audience noise and stuff like that, but in most of the professional stuff, especially when it's just like one match at a time, you usually don't hear much. Like you can pretty clearly hear the cornering. Like the room gets pretty quiet unless there's something like big happening, right? Whereas like a UFC event, like it's just nonstop noise. So I don't know. I never really felt as though anybody was negatively impacted by that. However, that's how we compete all the time. So maybe in a situation where it's something different from what he was used to, it could have changed things. Like to me, it doesn't seem like it would make a difference, but I can see how maybe if you've never had that before, it would be a big problem.
I could understand it in terms of, because in the corner, I need to be very relaxed, and I don't want a coach who's yelling at me, because it picks up my anxiety in the corner, and that's where I'm really trying to like chill.
Well, I was anxious just listening to this.
But
guy.
my wrestling career, I wrestled just like that. Like I feel like I didn't know how to wrestle. I was just a good athlete, and my coach liked me because I worked really hard. He coached me every second of every single match, because in high school wrestling, you can hear everything. I would literally be on top of a guy and have like an underhook and look and be on top and look up and be like, I'm like, what do I do in here? Yeah, I got I got this. What do I do? I got an arm bar. Should I do something?
Yeah. That's funny.
Chris was scrappy like Rudy. That's why your coach loved you.
My
were
wrestling
gritty.
and my
No
thing
talent,
are
but
completely
gritty.
just tough and athletic, fast.
Just a tough, scrappy son of a gun.
I got more black guys wrestling than I did boxing, which is crazy because I got a lot of black guys boxing too.
Chris,
I definitely agree with. Go ahead.
Chris, I love your spirit. Your technique is garbage, but you don't quit. There's no quitting you, son. I like that. What were you gonna say, Garry?
I was just gonna say I definitely agree that having a corner which is more excited than you is a problem.
Yeah.
Like I guess for me it's a problem. The same, Chris feels the same way. I think for some people maybe that's helpful. Like they feel like they need that extra like perk up or whatever, I guess, to like get in the zone. To me, fighting is already fucking terrifying. I'm already anxious the entire time. I don't need somebody else in my ear every 3 seconds to be like, yo, you know what we're gonna do, right? Yeah, we're gonna fucking kill him, man. We're gonna hit him with the left, we're gonna hit him with the right. Like like I
feel the exact same way.
I don't need that guy around me. If you're like that and you are in my corner, I will promptly tell you to get the fuck out, and you can sit in the stands and watch the fight, no problem. But you're definitely not showing up. You're definitely not gonna be sitting with me for fucking 8 hours potentially before a fight and fucking making my anxiety levels go through the roof.
I have members of my team who will remain nameless, who literally step out of the room during the warm up, right? Because they're just like, I'm just like, I'm calm, you're not. You need to go somewhere else.
Dude, one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever heard a corner say is, do you guys remember the GSP versus, I think it was Thiago Alves?
Yeah.
So I think GSP pulled a groin, and he goes to the corner and tells Greg, what was his name? His from Albuquerque, Jackson.
Greg Jackson.
Greg Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He says, I think I pulled the groin muscle, and he's like, hit him with it.
Then
Hit him with the groin.
It was amazing. I couldn't
Pull
believe
it up and just hit him with it.
Yeah,
So
just hit him with it.
John was talking about this with us, and he was like, because we were talking about that period where he was with Greg's, and because obviously John was still kind of trying to be his coach, and as a jiu-jitsu coach anyway, at least. So he knows a lot about like kind of went on the camp. and he was saying, he like asked Greg, like, because he was so confused by that cornering advice. Like John literally was like, dude, like I have to know, like what the fuck is going through this guy's mind. And Greg Jackson was just like, well, he's like, well, I saw it in like some movie or something, you know. A guy said like, or maybe it was in real life, maybe it was in a boxing match or something. Maybe Chris will remember.
Was it a Will Ferrell movie?
No. Maybe Chris will remember. It might have been a boxing match where somebody broke their hand or something, and the cornerman was like, "Oh, you broke your hand? Well, then hit him with it." Maybe it was Ali's coach or something.
I think it might have been Cinderella Man, actually.
Oh, okay.
In the movie Cinderella Man, yeah.
Yeah, you broke your hand, well then hit him with it or something like that. And like he somehow in his mind thought that would be also applicable where you're growing, but it literally just doesn't add up. Like I guess I could see it with a broken hand, like hit him with your broken hand, right? But like with your torn groin, like what?
Yeah, I broke
got
my
overly
foot,
excited
him in the face
there.
with it, but like, yeah, that's
Yeah. Also, like a groin injury is not quite like a broken hand, where like you could like I could foreseeably see you still punching even though the hand is broken. Like when you tear your groin, like legitimately, like that is some ungodly pain, and you cannot just like forget about that. Like
that's a debilitating injury.
You can't move, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Fuck, you can barely walk, let alone like really, do much.
What would a groin uppercut look like? What would a strike with your groin look like?
It's just gotta be
like we can refer to WWE for that one. A lot of groin strikes.
Television. So in terms of the worst cornering advice I've ever heard, and then I want to hear Chris's after this, I think, because you shared yours, Frankie. The worst cornering advice I've ever heard was I was watching, ironically, another GSP fight. It was GSP versus, who's the dude? Was it Dan Hardy with the big red mohawk?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was versus Dan Hardy, I think. It could have been somebody else, but I was on a tear watching GSP fights, so maybe it was something else. But he yells the corner, I forget which corner it was. He goes, "Use your retard strength."
Whoa, what? That is fucked up.
I boggled. I'm like, did he just say that?
Yeah.
That is very politically incorrect.
It was a number of years ago. You definitely can't say that now.
No, they're all mic'd up now.
I don't know if it was. I think it was Dan Hardy.
That would go viral. Can you believe that shit going viral on ESPN?
Yeah.
Hit him with your retard strength.
Dude, I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy.
I also had in one of my jiu-jitsu matches, somebody cornered the other athlete. Run. like
run towards or run away.
Signal the judges that that's the game plan. Nice.
But go ahead, Chris. What do you think?
It's not even. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's pretty famous though. Teddy Atlas with Michael Moore literally yells at him and goes, every round is pleading him to like. Michael Moore was like a super talented guy, really fast, really strong, heavyweight, southpaw, really difficult style to deal with. Talent through the roof, but didn't like training hard. Was always had trouble with like being in shape and not fucking off and whatever. And then also just losing confidence during fights. But it was crazy because he was so talented. And Teddy Atlas was his coach, and Teddy's like a motivational guy. He's in the corner and he's yelling at him. Yeah, I'm yelling at him every round, pleading with him to go out there and do what we all know he can do. And literally, the dude's walking back. Michael Moore's walking back to the corner, and Teddy sits in the stool and goes, "You're not gonna fight? I'll fucking fight the next round. How about that? If you want to fight, you sit down. If you don't want to fight, I'll sit down and fight next round." I was like, first of all, that's awesome, but for a fighter, that's so fucking debilitating.
Yes,
your coach is making you look like an asshole on TV. Like,
I mean, man, sometimes though, listen, most of the time I'm with you, like super calm. Like whenever I give instructions from the corner, I project it loudly, but I never make it sound like you have to do what I have to say. It's all suggestions. It's like a reminder of things, that you should already know, but maybe it'll spark something in your head. You're like, oh yeah, right. I got to take the center of the octagon again, or whatever the case may be. Right. However, there are those moments. I do think that what you just talked about is necessary. Now, I don't know if that was one of those moments. He might have been wrong to do it, but every so often it's just like, man, the guy just gets himself into a fucking mode where he just gives up mentally. And like, that's no amount of technical advice in that situation is going to change things. Like that's the kind of thing that wake up call is what you need, I think, sometimes.
My coach now, he's my most recent coach, Andre Brazier. trained multiple world champions, brought Danny Jacobs up for many years. He hits us all in the face right before we go out. Hard slap, and this motherfucker's got meat hooks for hands. And he's one of those guys.
Gives you a shiner before you step into the ring.
I remember my first fight with him was my first fight back after 2.5 years, and I hadn't been in a ring, hadn't been punched in the face like for real in a fight in a long time, and I was worried about it because you never know about your chin, like it just disappears someday. And we're in the back warming up, and then he's like, "All right, nephew," because he calls me nephew. He's like, "Go out there, do your thing," and like he raises his hand. I'm just like, "Oh, I've seen this before," and he fucking hits me. I was like, "Boom!" It was the hardest I got hit that night. I boxed 10 rounds. It was the hardest I got hit that night. Was this man slapping me in the face right before we went out to walk out into the ring.
His hands are like that Russian world champ that knocks dudes out with a pimp slap.
Dude,
he's a vegan. He's a big guy with a big old belly, older guy. But bro, even on the mitts, he's just got fast hands. Speed is a different thing, man. You don't have to be in shape or fit to be fast. This guy's just fast, and he's got.
Man. If he holds the mitts, he seems like he could slap.
Yeah.
I mean, what exactly does that do for you though? Does it wake you up, or does it get you like agitated? What?
I think he does it for multiple reasons, and I think it's different for each fighter. For me, it's kind of like, okay, this is real. It's go time. I think other guys that are really nervous, it's kind of like it brings them back to almost like childhood because he's everyone's uncle. You know, like he's that familiar type trainer. So it's kind of just like your uncle's or your dad's fucking whack, you know, like bringing you right back to, okay, I got to listen to what you're going to say.
There's a viral video of Jason Perillo doing that to Chris Cyborg. And it's, I mean.
Smacking her before the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, dude, to see a dude smack the shit out of a chick.
You know where I would.
Granted, she could beat his ass because she's bigger than him, but.
Yeah.
You know where I would appreciate this type of cornering most? It's like when I'm in bed with like an ugly chick and we're like 2 or 3 minutes in and I'm starting to like lose interest. I just need somebody to like sit me down on a stool and be like, "You can do this. You can do it. You're a real man."
Garry, I'm definitely your coach for that one.
Dude, tell you what. Why don't you just put us on FaceTime next time? Chris and I'll guide you through it. Don't worry about it. We got your back.
Don't worry about my boys. They're just gonna watch.
No, dude, we don't even have to watch. We can just listen.
I'm flash forwarding to me and Garry in a really shitty hotel room somewhere with 2 double beds, and being like, "Hey, Chris, remember that podcast? I need your help."
I'm sensing this will happen in Asia.
I feel
somewhere
like
in the near future.
In that cornering situation, I think it'd be better than like what John would have to offer in that cornering situation, where he'd just be like, "Nice work, Garry Tonin. Good penetration.
Good penetration.
Switch to the anus now. Very good. Nice transition."
Take side control.
Excuse me 1 second. I just gotta take care of something. I gotta help my man out. Come on. Garry, let's go. Come on.
Garry, you are not giving your full pump, and he'll stick a finger in your ass so you get hard again.
Let's go, kid. Get in the game.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
I'm dead. This is definitely the highlight clip that you're gonna have to put together from this episode for sure.
You guys see? Wait, Garry. In Asia, it's kind of quiet though, right? You can listen to corner.
Yeah.
Like more than the U.S., right?
I would say in one, you can pretty clearly hear the cornering advice. There's a few people, like when my mother comes to the fights, she just screams the entire time, so it's slightly distracting. There was some English dude at one of my fights who was like screaming and stuff that was somewhat distracting from the cornering advice. But like other than that, like the rest of the crowd is just deadpan unless you get like a big knockdown or something. Like, yeah, for sure. There's definitely some people that'll cheer, you know?
Yeah, they sit on their hands there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Dude, there's an epic viral video in one of like the tough fight histories. It was probably like one of the first tough fights, like the finales, where this drunk dude in the crowd just goes, "Kick him in the dick." And both of the fighters just start laughing, dude, in the middle of like scrapping.
The fighters laughed?
Yeah, the fighters were laughing. I mean, It's when the arenas weren't that big.
Right.
It was probably like one of the first toughs.
Grab his dick
the
and
Ultimate
twist
Fighter.
it.
Kick him in the dick. It's funny, man. Fucking drunk dude just screaming shit. Chris, from the look of your face, that wine isn't going down very smoothly. What's going on?
No, it's not my normal.
Is it box wine?
No, it's.
Oh wait, I saw a bottle.
It's Cabernet. It's just I'm a Malbec guy, so like I normally drink Malbec every day, and I was like literally gonna rush out to go to the store to get some more wine, and I found this thing, and I was like, 2014. That's a good year, I guess, because I don't know shit about wine. So,
Chris, what's the? Sorry to distract us from this wine conversation, because I also prefer the Malbec, but I want to go back to the cornering thing again, or the crowd yelling like crazy shit. So, what's the worst thing that you've ever been heckled with while you've been fighting, or if you don't have a good enough one, then what's the worst thing you've heard somebody else got heckled with?
So I fought a lot of like really small like theater style venues when I was coming up, like literally in my hometown. So like, yeah, like literally, and I'm similar to how what you were talking about earlier. Like I'm a cerebral guy, like how you are too. Like I don't want to get yelled at in the corner. So like a lot of times early in my fights, things are kind of slow. Like I start slow, I set things up. I'm a boxer. Like I'm thinking, especially in the beginning.
Sure.
So I was fighting in my hometown and like always had like big crowds in a small place. So like really, and
Sure.
I'd walk out to this huge opening and whatever. But like the first couple rounds, a lot of times they're very fucking slow. So like there's a lot of room for boos and jeers and cheers. And I would literally get like, "You suck," and that would immediately, like, it's so funny how fast that would like spur me into action and be like, "You suck," and I would immediately rip off like a 17 punch combination,
just to try to shut him up.
It looked like it was set up, but like it would be so fast. It'd be like, "You suck." By the time he finished K, I was like, "Bang, bang, bang."
That's amazing.
I know, fight started now. Okay, cool.
I had one event that I did. It was when professional grappling still wasn't really a thing. We started doing these small shows called PGL. It's a professional grappling league. But we maybe get like paid like $100 for the show or something like that. Like something crazy low. But it was still an opportunity to compete professionally, but they would do it in a boxing ring. They kind of want to try to simulate the same idea of like a fight night, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So we have this boxing ring. It's just in the center of some like random gym and somewhere in Philadelphia or something, I think. And I'm in the finals against some big dude, and he's got his whole family there. I got my whole family there, and that's probably pretty much all the people that are watching. Some of the people from my gym and maybe from his gym, right? It's dead silent, because there's already only 20 people in the room. And you just hear, "Get the fuck out of here, Garry. Ain't nobody cheering for you, Garry."
That's a good one.
And like,
Whoa.
I got some people, and like, even though that's not that bad, I got some people on my team that are like real criminals for sure. Like, not going to name any names. But one of them gets up. He's like this 260-pound dude. He looks over at the dude talking shit and just starts running. Towards
the dude?
Yeah. And he sprints. He runs him out of the building. Come to find out, when he gets outside the building, the guy's got like a nub for an arm. Like he's only got like one arm. So he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna beat the guy up,
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat the one guy up." So he just went back in the building, but apparently,
he's like, please don't hurt me. I got one arm.
Yeah, apparently it was somebody's like his like uncle or something. The guy I was fighting. "Get the fuck out of here, Garry. Ain't nobody cheering for you, Garry."
That's great.
You should hire that guy for your next fight.
Yeah,
and it was clear, like you could understand him. Like in the
so clear. Like he's the only one talking. No, not a single other person was speaking.
I got a good one when I was fighting in my hometown. I was fighting I don't even actually remember which fight it was. I didn't score a knockout in that fight, and like I got like shit about that.
Sure.
And because like if you're the main event in your hometown, like if you don't get the guy out, you're a fucking loser. But so I'm a loser that night. And after the fights, like I've always been known to like go out, like especially my hometown, like 'cause my home, like literally walk out. Like I lived 8 minutes from the venue.
Yeah.
It was a big venue. We had like 1,000 people there, but like
gotta go.
right, and we would go out and
My
go right
teammates
to
not about that. Like they'll go, they finish competing, they fucking go to bed. I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, bro, I have to go to the strip club for you right now.
Right.
Like even though
I'm
this
like-
wasn't my night.
I'm like that now because the fights are just so demanding at this point. But like when I was coming up, I'm like, yeah, 8 or 10 round fight against some guy who's not fucking world class. Like this is like I can do this every night, you know. Like so, I'm gonna go out and drink. I could have drank last night and still won the fight, fought this fight. So like I would go literally from like the back shower or I'd have friends in the back waiting for beers for me. So after this fight. I had a girlfriend at the time, so like we just went out and like whatever, I got food or whatever. And my brother went out separately. My brother obviously like my whole family, whatever. The next morning, my brother doesn't come home. And I'm
shit.
like, that's weird. Comes home like late. He has his goose down jacket ripped over the shoulder. All the shit's coming out. Face is fine, but like definitely looks like he got into something. And he walks in the door and we're all like, hello. you know, like, where you been, bro? And he's like, so one Algeria scored a knockout last night, and then just kept walking.
Oh shit. He threw shade at you. Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely a crushing moment for you. Sure.
I was like, oh.
Low blow.
My brother's so cooler than me. Fuck.
You guys see the Overeem versus Walt Harris fight?
I did. Garry,
Dude,
you saw it?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see these heavyweights like Overeem and Arlovsky just taking shots and not folding. Like I could have sworn that both of these guys had debilitated chins, but they seem to still be holding up, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They both took so many strikes that like we're putting them down. I thought at any moment both of them were gonna fucking get knocked out. It was crazy.
And
It's
Overeem did.
It's like that.
I think with the heavyweights though, I don't like. Yeah, chins go. Like it doesn't matter what weight you're in. Like chins go, but like also heavyweights. It doesn't matter how good your chin is. Like you can go at any time, and I don't know if they, you know, like I don't think if their chin is gone. I think they just got hit by guys who can fucking play. You know, when Francis Ngannou hit you with a fucking uppercut from half.
Well, I
across
mean,
the ring.
you're talking
You know,
about
like,
some dude that could put anybody's lights out, like with anything.
But that's how they all are. That's how we have to understand. We have to understand, like, Rosenstrike is that guy. Ngannou is that guy. Alice Overeem is that guy. Arlovsky is that guy. You know, Rampage is that guy. All those guys, they're all absolute killers, and they're huge.
Because it's not like your ability to get knocked out improves that much with size. Like I'd imagine, I'd probably, or sorry, your ability to not get knocked out. But I would imagine there's a slight, from what I remember John telling me, there's a slight correlation between neck strength and your ability to get knocked out, and that's about the only thing that they can find as a significant factor. But okay, but like how much stronger is a 250-pound person's neck compared to mine? It can't be that much of a difference comparatively, you know, to getting knocked out. And now, but there is a huge difference in the power that I'm going to be able to put into a punch and the power that, you know, that heavyweight is going to be able to put into a punch potentially.
Right.
Garry, you could attest to this for sure. Coming into striking somewhat late, the learning curve of striking is so fucking steep. Like you can go from literally not knowing how to throw any punch at all without hurting yourself to knocking out people no problem. And so the learning curve is so sharp.
Yeah.
But how you take a punch it's not like that. You can't. The training curve for that's not the same at all.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's not even really something that you can really work on that much. I mean, other than just making sure you're not going to be like looking away from punches while you're getting hit. I mean, that's about that and like, okay, don't stick my fucking head up in the air. You know what I mean? Like keep my chin kind of tucked into my shoulders. I mean, other than that, like what can you really do?
I tell everyone, if you can get hit, you can get hurt. If you can get hurt, you can get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's it. It doesn't matter. We're all human. We all have that thing.
To me, the only relevant thing to train is training not getting hit and deflecting punches, not like you get like I remember somebody discussing with me, and I'm sure you've seen some bullshit like this because you've been, you know, from the bottom to the top in boxing. Somebody was explaining to me a drill where their coach made them spin around on the tip of a baseball bat 10 times, and then
I've seen that a bunch of times.
Session to simulate what it would be like to be wobbled in a fight. And it's like, well, how about we just work on the skills relevant to try to not be wobbled in a fight? Or rather than, or even fuck that. Let's say we are going to potentially get wobbled in a fight. How about we work on the strategies that are going to help us not potentially get hit in that situation? I don't know, creating distance, or I don't know, closing distance with a clinch or something. Instead of like, yeah, let's spin around the baseball bat and get dizzy, but fucking throw hands at each other. Like, are we retarded? Like, what is this? Is this 5th grade? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
Garry, I agree 100%. Number one, learn how to not get hit. That's number one. Learn the defensive skills to not take damage. 2, try to minimize any kind of damage you take. And then 3 is with the last point. It's like, okay, so if it does happen, because it's going to at some point, you got to be ready for it. Like, we don't want to be like, hey, we're going to plan for you getting hurt. But it's like, hey, if this happens. So I got a great story. I am in Las Vegas. I was living out there at the time, training. Actually, no, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I went there for the WBC convention. And they invite champions, fighters, whatnot. At this point, I wasn't a champion. I was going in order to get my ranking up. And they do like a big, like literally like a judges panel, and you sit there and like promoters and managers raise their hand and be like, well, my fighter should be ranked number 7 instead of number 9 because he beat this guy and that guy beat this guy. It's a lot of like boxing math and whatever, politics bullshit. Anyway, so I'm out there. So I'm there. I'm like, I'm gonna get training now, so I'm gonna train with some people. But I run into world famous referee Joe Cortez. And Joe had actually been watching my fights, had seen me fight on TV a few times. It was like, hey man, you're a really talented guy. I like your style and whatnot. He's like, hey, if you want anywhere to train, come to my house. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. He's like, no, I got a full gym and boxing ring and everything. You guys can use it anytime you want. Okay, cool. We go. His house, first of all, was a mansion, but he had this entire wing of the house that was dedicated to boxing. Like it was basically like walking into a Hall of Fame. The belts and pictures and posters that were on the wall, there was countless amounts of money worth of memorabilia of boxing things for the past 40 years. It was absolutely insane. Full-size ring, absolutely beautiful. Long story short, we're in there, we're training, we're going over things. My coach is holding mitts, he's watching me train, he's giving me little pointers here and there. And then he goes, hey, Chris, if you ever get hurt, he's like, you're allowed to clinch. He's like, excessive. This is a referee. He's one of the best referees in the game. Been around everywhere. I think he has been a referee for Mike Tyson countless times. Literally goes, excessive clinching is illegal, and you'll get warned for it. He's like, but clinching is not. Clinching is part of the game. You're allowed to grab, to hold, and move. As long as you position and move and use it to your advantage, it's actually okay. He's like, listen. He's like, you know what else is okay? Taking a knee. He's like, if you're really hurt at any time, it's better to take an 8 count than have the fight end, because at least you're extending how long this fight could potentially go. Yeah, you lose a point. You got another however many rounds to get that back. My very first world title fight, I get dropped in the first fucking round, and I'm completely blind because I broke my orbital. I couldn't see the guy coming at me. He's hitting me. I took a knee. Everyone's like, oh, you won that fight because you took a knee. I came back and won the fight. And it's funny. I ran into Joe in a commentating gig in Las Vegas at the end of this last year. And he goes, do you remember before that fight when you came to my house and I told you to take a knee? And I was like, holy shit, Joe. Like, yes, I do remember that. I can't believe you remember that.
I did it because of you.
Yeah.
Hey, so
awesome.
Wait, he has a mansion because of being a referee?
No, he's got a mansion because of other reasons. But,
okay, I was going to be
I'm sure
like,
he's done very well. I mean, he's one of the most famous. Boxing is a lot of money, bro. A lot of money in boxing.
Yeah.
Frankie's just adding up the numbers and trying to think about if it's too late for him to become a boxing referee.
Dude, that guy's a dirty referee. That's what he is. He's taking fucking bribes from mob bosses.
No, Joe's the man. I'm fair but I'm firm. That was him, Joe Cortez. I'm fair but I'm firm.
Okay, I don't know him. I don't know that.
You don't know Joe Cortez? I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name. Yeah.
Joe Cortez, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Cortez, the guy with the mansion from getting bribes.
Not true, YouTube. Not
Chris
true.
Algieri said it here.
Nope.
Breaking news.
My boy, it's a good man.
Eyewitness News, where news comes first.
So, a Catholic priest from Detroit named Father Tim Pelk, about a month ago, was standing outside his church blasting customers with holy water with a mini squirt gun. just blasting them in the face and blessing them.
Random people?
I mean, churchgoers.
It
was
okay.
It was like there was like a drive-through, like a huge line, just people waiting their turn to get blasted with a squirt gun.
The way you framed this originally, Frankie, you realize led us to believe that he could have just been outside with a random super soaker just squirting random people in the face.
I think that would have been cooler though, right?
But this is during the pandemic, correct?
This was 15 days ago.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, he was standing outside his church. He probably like sent a flyer saying like he would do that, and
well, we're talking
that's
about
why he got so many people going there.
We're talking about a man with creativity and ingenuity and a will to win. Okay,
bro,
right.
He had it was funny just watching him in like his traditional like garments and then like a super soaker in his hand, blasting people in the face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God shows himself in many ways.
He found a way. Yeah, they do say the Lord works in mysterious ways, and that's quite mysterious.
Dude, I can't. I mean, imagine like fucking getting people like in the eyes and stuff,
I'll tell
or
you,
in their mouth.
And people generally dress nice to go to church, so like they're like in their Sunday clothes.
I would way rather show up in a drive-through super soaker event than I ever would any of the CCD classes that I had to take when I was a child, any of the times I had to actually show up to church and sit up and stand up and sit down and like try not to color on the hymn books and stuff like that were left for me, and get smacked by my mom because I'm not paying attention, Like I would way rather get squirted in the face by a super soaker full of holy water. If I knew that's what I was signing up for, I would have been way more enthusiastic about the religion that I was a part of.
Dude, you guys want to hear a funny story? Now that you say that, Garry, what's that?
As if that one wasn't funny enough.
Usually when I'm like doing stuff with my son and he's like either coloring or doing homework or something like that, and he's like fidgety. I think he has ADHD.
I'm pretty sure he's your son, so
yeah. His mom is always scolding him. And one time she left the room and I'm like, listen, don't worry about it. You do whatever the fuck you want. You do whatever the fuck you want. Don't let nobody tell you what to do.
Don't let her break your spirit like she broke mine.
I love Latin parents because that's how I was raised too. My mother would be like,
bro, she caught me last week saying that shit to him. Yeah, it brought a lot of tension to my household.
Latin parents do that because like my mother's Latin, my father's not. So like I would get like reamed out by my dad. My mother would be like, "You do what you want, baby. Fuck him." Like every time. I'm like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Latin parents, definitely a different thing.
Yeah, I wanna teach him like to think outside the box. Fuck rules, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Rules are meant to be broken. Okay, so officials are desperately searching for ex-WWE superstar Shad Gaspard after he went missing during a swim at Venice Beach yesterday with his 10-year-old son. Dude, the guy is
Where's the son?
His son was they were both swimming, and a group of swimmers got stuck in like a strong rip current around 4 p.m. and the lifeguards were able to pull his son out. But he's 6'7", 265 pounds, and they haven't found him.
What beach was this?
In Venice Beach.
He got eaten by sharks because the shark activity out there has been like crazy. I keep hearing about that, and he sounds like a really good big snack. So.
Bro, huge man, 6'7", 265 pounds.
Yeah, a shark lunch.
Man.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Chris. We've been wondering this, and I hadn't done any research on it. So that's a real thing, huh? The sharks are kind of like inhabiting near the coastal areas more often.
I heard what were the beaches that were hit? Oh, fuck. There's been like great white shark attacks in like not trying to think, not like San Diego. I don't know the beaches. I hear the beaches in California that they don't mean anything to me, but like around that like LA-ish to San Diego, like that beachfront over there. I've heard about a bunch of shark attacks.
It makes logical sense because there's just less activity in the water. I think it would be like kind of deterring them and scaring them away. And probably the other thing to factor in is probably there's more that the activity that they do want, the things that they actually do like to eat, are probably returning more to those areas as well. So they probably approach upon them, because normally the other things might get scared away by humans as well. So
it's just driving everything to the coast. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Garry, you're gonna love this next one.
Okay.
Because you love buying merch, stupid merch. The Tiger King has officially signed a deal with streetwear company Oh Dangerous, April 30, and he has a 6-month partnership with a clothing line called Revenge.
Interesting.
And it's already sold out with like more than 7,000 items.
Wait, so you can sign agreements from the Clink?
Yeah, I guess so. He's in prison for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess
America's awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful thing.
So he's making a killing. He's gonna have a bunch of money when he comes out.
The thing that's what I was gonna say. The thing I wonder is, when does he actually get out?
I don't know. I thought you would know this by now. Didn't you sign his petition, Garry?
I mean, and hopefully Trump gives him a pardon and we're good to go.
Man,
Trump's
that would be
select first.
That would be the ultimate move if Trump would sign his pardon. He would get reelected so fast.
Absolutely.
He would make an absolute superstar if he did that. Like, Trump would be signing the superstar. That would be the contract. It would be like, oh, you're getting pardoned? No, you're a fucking superstar. Like, he would be explode. Absolutely explode. Oh, you want
Legendary status.
You want to be a multimillionaire? Cool. Just, there you go. You're out. Go ahead.
Legendary status.
What even better though would be is if he somehow instituted a switching of sentence with Carol Baskin. That would be the real slam dunk.
The ultimate power move.
Yeah.
There is, with all the bullshit that's going on in the world today, especially here, if you give me 2 years and you told me that Carol Baskin was in jail for life and that Joe Exotic was the biggest star in the world, I wouldn't even blink. Wouldn't even blink.
Yeah. For sure. He was actually running for president in the next election.
He'll be 2024. I was gonna do it until this podcast came out, and then before that, I think I had a chance.
But
who knows? Because fucking Trump is our president, so I don't think it really matters who's out there anymore.
That's the one thing that I think he's done more than anything else in office, is shown us that we really can be president.
Anyone can do
it. We really can be. Like, people would think about it before as a joke. Like, I want to be president. Yeah, whatever, Jimmy, you're a retard. And then you see Trump on TV, you're like, nah, maybe Jimmy wasn't so retarded after all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything is possible in America.
How crazy is it that it's more difficult to say that I want to be an astronaut than it is to be I want to be president? You say you want to be an astronaut, people are like, all right, fuck off. You want to be president? Okay.
You actually have a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bar has been set down a little bit.
Lowered.
I will say this.
Lowered.
Just is Biden is the official candidate. I don't follow this shit. Biden is the official candidate of the Democratic Party now, right?
Right.
Like, for the next election?
Yeah.
Man, they really, like, again, I don't follow politics at all. I don't really know who the other candidates were, but that was the best they could do. Really? Like, I feel like you could have grabbed a random dude and done better than that. Like,
Instead
just pick his name out of a hat.
Yeah.
Dude,
Instead of my grandpa who has Alzheimer's. Yeah, that's probably a good point.
and Trump murdered him, man.
Oh,
like,
dude, I cannot wait to the debate.
Sleepy Joe Biden.
Wait to the debate. It's gonna be Mike Tyson versus a fucking sheep. Like, he's gonna fucking murder that guy. It's gonna be great.
Are debates allowed?
No. When they do the presidential debate, like, it's gonna be like literally. Ugh.
I can't wait for that. It's gonna be like, they should have it on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do on Saturday? I didn't ask you guys. What'd you guys do on this weekend? Anything fun going on? Ooh.
Oh, so I went out on Saturday
Saturday.
because I'm in Florida. I went out to a restaurant.
Nice.
Damn,
Sat
really?
down at a table at a
Really?
beer garden. It was a beer garden, so it was
I'm
outside.
jealous.
Was it weird?
No, it was fucking awesome. It was like
Was it packed?
I was giddy. It was packed.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
But there was distance.
Okay.
They set up the tables in a way. It's a beer garden right in Boca that I go to all the time, and they set up the tables differently on the inside, and like they have a lot of outdoor seating anyway because it's beer garden. But it was just so cool to get a tap beer and to order food and not do dishes and to be with like
Did you go alone?
I had two guy friends with me, and we had a big ass table and we sat apart from each other. We had our waiter and the other tables there, but it was just like we're looking at people and there's conversation, and it was we're all just smiling at each other because it's weird, you know, like if you haven't been out for a long time and actually ordered food, it was a really fun thing to be able to do.
Did you get some evil eyes from some MILFs?
There was this Russian group that came in. I think they were Russian, definitely Eastern European of some sort, and it looked a little shady. It was some older guys with some not great hair and kind of bellies and some like kind of hottish girls that were in really tight dresses. And it was a straight line to me and her. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get murdered in the car because she's beelining right to me. And this guy is probably Russian mafia.
And did she take like an L turn or what?
No, she was. She looked like she was pretty much handcuffed underneath the table. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that was kind of like an escort-ish situation?
Yeah, or a passport situation. Who knows? You know, trying to get like a visa. Who got one of those things?
Hell yeah, man.
It didn't look legit. Definitely not legit.
That's my
Gotcha,
dream
gotcha.
someday.
Dude, I had to watch the UFC. I had to watch the main event on Sunday again, just to make sure that whatever happened was real.
You had another one of them.
Man.
What were you drinking on Saturday?
So I was doing some day drinking. I was staying at a friend's house. His beach house is really nice, and
You've been having a good time lately, Frankie.
yeah, I can't complain, man. I've been having some fun. And me and a buddy drank a bottle of tequila. We started drinking around 3, and then when it was UFC time, I was kind of like, you know, had been drinking for like 4 hours, maybe 4 hours, yeah, maybe 4 hours, and we killed the bottle, and I decided to, man, what an idiot! I decided to drink wine after that, which, you know, wine or beer after hard liquor is like a no-no.
I'll go beer. Wine, no.
Man, I mean, I don't know. I can't take it. I get like massive hangovers. But anyways, I went to sleep and the room was fucking spinning, dude. You guys had those, huh? Do you guys get bad hangovers when you rage or no? Not really.
I do.
I'm not big on the hangovers unless I take too much Cialis, but other than that, I would say most of the time, no. I think there was one time I was most affected, and it was similar to your situation where there was a lot of hard liquor involved, and it hadn't had the appropriate amount of time to really hit my system. So I didn't really know, you know, like, all right, let's say we showed up at a club in Vegas, and it was I want to say this might have been at the McGregor fight. I'm not 100% sure. I know I was in Vegas, but it was a McGregor and Khabib fight, I think, but it could have been a different time in Vegas. And I went out with my buddies, and a guy that trains at Henzo's was like, "Oh yeah, come out with us, whatever." But he's like the kind of dude that, like, you know, insists upon you drinking over and over. No matter how many times you turn away a shot, it's like 2 seconds later, again.
Like, what are you, a fucking pussy?
And I'm like, ugh. And he like,
Peer
so
pressure.
he orders me a bottle, and foolishly I chose something that nobody else would drink. I chose Jameson. So, which is something
You
I
had
know
to drink the whole fucking
yeah,
thing.
something I would enjoy, but at the same time, what that meant was he didn't want to waste the bottle, and he knew none of the other chicks and stuff that were with us were going to drink it. So he's just trying to go shot for shot with me with the Jameson. And I must have had like half the fucking bottle, and everything was fine. I felt okay, but I just knew I needed to eat something. So I fucking go eat. I eat a bunch of like some random like falafel places open, and then I go like hang out with some chick. I sleep with her. Like halfway through it, like my stomach is just growling, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to call it quits. It was like the first time I ever like had my stomach hurt so bad that I literally had to just stop intercourse. So I fall asleep.
In comes out Jerry. Hi, come on, Garry, let's go.
Tag me in.
See, this is what I needed. I needed the corner, man.
Tag me in, coach.
Game.
Put me in.
Yeah.
Put me in.
I needed it so bad. I definitely needed some encouragement for sure, because I just wasn't, because every time I started thrusting harder, because like that's what has to happen before the finish. Like we go from a consistent to like and every time we got to that stage,
Get that swishy stomach.
yeah, my stomach started shaking back and forth, and I'm like, oh man, I can't. So I could never quite get to the peak, So I'm like, all right, I gotta go to bed. I go to bed, and it was as if my body sprung awake in the middle of the night. I'm just like, ugh! And I didn't know what was happening at first, and then I felt my stomach grumble and like my mouth, and I'm
The
just
watering,
like,
the watering, yeah.
fucking cover it.
About to
And
puke.
I wasn't with it enough to know where the bathroom was in this hotel room. It was like one of those really like fancy schmancy bullshit hotels that they have in Vegas. So I had no idea where to run. I made like a wrong turn into a different room. I fucking turned around. Like I didn't even make it to the toilet really. I just threw up all over the tile next to
Oh
the
my God. Was she still there?
Yeah, she was still there. She definitely noticed like what happened. Because that night I had eaten all of the candy from the minibar as well. After I had eaten at the
Did
other
your
place.
puke like stink?
It was like a bunch
stinky?
it was very multicolored because I had eaten an entire bag of peanut M&Ms.
What a
So
disaster.
there was just like multicolored vomit everywhere. Yeah,
See,
that was rough. But that's the
Chris-
only time I've ever vomited while drinking, believe it or not.
Well,
Chris, this is where you come in and you sit him in the shitter. You put an ice bag in the back of his neck,
and
and
like,
you give
listen,
him
bro.
a pep talk, and then you slap him and say,
Listen,
"You
listen.
get in there and give me your best."
This is what separates the champions from everyone else. Get in there, get it done.
Oh my
Your
God.
name continues. That's what we're here for. So Gary's under 30 years old. So his hangover situation is a completely different thing than what's going to happen in a few years. I'm 36. I get 3-day fucking hangovers now. I remember at 30 hit me and I was like, wow, 2-day hangover. This is crazy. Now, dude.
Bro, I woke up dizzy this morning, and it's
Days, huh?
Monday.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I woke up dizzy this morning. So, anyways, I had to puke on Saturday night.
Oh, you picked that
Was
night?
Well, it wasn't Saturday anymore because it was like 3 a.m. So it was Sunday 3 a.m.
I used to be good for like a really good, like really drunk blackout once a year.
Yeah.
Quarantine is once a week.
You know what I think the thing is for me too is like with all the stuff that went on with my dad, like I tend to not like go crazy and overdrink that much. Like I feel like I just in general moderate my drinking pretty well, with the exception of that one time that I just explained to you guys. And I think that's probably more the reason that I'm not experiencing the same hangovers that everybody else is.
You seem to have a good handle on it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're disciplined and you drink whenever you want to drink. It's not like it's bigger than you. Because normally,
unless I'm in the Dominican Republic with Frankie, in which case everything.
And then you're fucked.
And there's at every meal, including breakfast.
the most sober I've ever been with Frankie has been our podcasts.
And you're actually drinking now, so
Yeah,
that goes.
that goes towards my entire line of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, for
These
everybody that's listening in, I'm not a fucking drunk. I got a handle.
No, you're
my
not.
drinking.
You guys.
I woke up on Sunday and I swam like 500 meters, which isn't very, very good because I can't swim. And I went for like a 30-kilometer bike ride. So I'm a
That's not
fucking
bad.
savage too.
You're a triathlete.
All right. So you're a triathlete.
Fucking.
Triathlete.
And then my headache, and crazy enough, my headache went away.
Nice.
Like as soon as like I started to sweat it out.
Get
You
out.
just have to gut it out. Like endure like a good 15 minutes of hell of just
Yeah.
like throbbing.
That's
fucking
definitely something that I'll get, that maybe the hangover symptoms aren't as much, but I'll get like stomach pain in such a way that if I show up to training the next day, like somebody pushing on my stomach is incredibly painful. So like I get stuff like that, but the like the actual like headaches and things like that never really cost me.
I don't get headaches or stomach problems. I just get general malaise. Like I'm just like, ugh, just like everything is just kind of like, But I was so one of the Chimera trips, Frankie, you and Theo, we were going to California, and I had just come off of a training camp with one of my fighters. And when I'm in training camp, like working with a fighter, like I do everything with them. So I was in like fight shape, literally going into this thing, and was disciplined in training and working with my guys. So I'm not getting drunk like while my fighters, fighting,
Of course.
training, whatever. So we got out, and I was like, I feel like I just fought. Like my guy did his thing, he won. Like we made weight, whatever. So I was literally flew from the night of the fight to meet these guys in California, and we had this a whole Chimera like business trip, and these guys were just astonished about how often and how much I was drinking from like literally every morning, all day,
Garry,
night.
Yes.
You know when I knew that Chris and I were going to be good friends? He arrived around 8 a.m. and I was in the ocean just getting like a cold plunge because it was freezing.
I remember this.
And I see that he comes all decked out in like his winter garb. And I'm like, yo, Chris, what up, dog? And I see that he has a 20-ounce cup in his hand with brown liquid. And I'm like, oh shit, give me some of that cold brew, dog. And when I taste it, it's like really dark beer. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? It's like 8 a.m.
It was like 8 a.m.
Waking up is Guinness in your cup.
Exactly. He had like
exactly what I thought. It was Guinness.
It was shocking, dude.
But it was Guinness Extra Stout, which is like 8.5% alcohol. Like that was first thing I put in my body that day.
Thick stuff right there.
I'm like, I'm celebrating a victory. My guy just won. Let's go.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did you get a beer at 8 a.m., bro?
Dude,
now that I'm thinking about it.
Don't worry about
it. I walked to the bogey. I was on New York time, so I was like 3 hours ahead of everyone. So like I went out super early and like went to the bodega and got myself a beer. And
one of the great things about like traveling, like that we do, like, you're on a fucking airplane or you're fucking in a hotel or whatever. You're just like, oh yeah, I could fucking drink it at fucking 12 p.m. Who cares? You know what I mean? No big deal. This is normal. We're on vacation here.
Every time you hop on a plane, you're on vacation. That's it.
Yeah, right. Anywhere you are where you're not from, you're on vacation.
It's the way to go, man. That's the spirit.
Chris, as much as I am with you in that when I train my athletes and stuff, if I'm coaching, like I'm definitely like doing their workouts and everything like that, I am not with you in not partying while they're not partying, because I do that before my fights. So, well, I don't really drink before my fights at all. Like I'm not really big on like taking like even like sleeping pills. Like I don't like that like the week of the fight or anything like that. Yeah. But I will go out. Like I'll go out to like a strip club or something till like 2 a.m. or something,
Yeah, my last couple
before your fight.
Yeah, because when you have to remember, like when you fight, it's probably going to be like, unless you're fighting like the first on the card, it's probably going to be kind of late. Yeah, and like I prefer my body to be programmed to be awake
like
late at night.
Acclimated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because otherwise you got to wait till fucking 10 p.m. to fight, right? And like your body is used. Let's say I wake up at like 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. every day. My body, by the time it's 10 p.m., I'm ready to sleep, man. And now it's like this one day we got to do something different where we got to fight at 10 p.m. Whereas instead I adjust my sleep schedule. I make it so that I'm up till 2, 3 in the morning every night. And now it's like, 10 p.m., no big deal. Like we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Yep.
True. Makes sense. That's what I do when I travel. Like if I'm doing like international travel, I land, I don't nap, I go right out. I have dinner, I go drink, I go party, I go hang out, and I go to sleep at some crazy time in the middle of the night and wake up the next day, whatever time it is, and it always resets me.
Yeah.
Garry, how tall are you?
5'9" and a half. I like to say 5'10", but the truth is I don't think I'm quite there.
Garry has lifts in his shoes.
Let me put it
At one point, when I went to go get my license done, I put my height as 5'11" because I thought I was going to still grow.
Wishful thinking.
I'll grow into it like a pair of shoes or something.
I had the opposite. I had a driver's license that I was 5'7" for like the longest time, and I was like, I'm like almost 5'11". So like I had this this license that said 5'7" for the longest time. I was just like, I need to get this redone.
It's Chris's fitness tips he's got for you. He's got the little tips. He's gonna give it all to you. Just the tip. The little fitness tip. He's gonna give it all to you.
There's been a lot, not relatively recently, but like the Carnivore Diet. And I've done kind of like a deep dive on it. And I'm sure you guys have all heard about this thing, right? Carnivore Diet, it's basically the anti-vegan diet, essentially. And you eat nothing but animal products, like no fruit, no veggies, no grains, no carbs. It is the most restrictive diet out there. And it's essentially a no-carb diet. And that's, from a nutritionist standpoint, that's how I kind of look at it. It is a no-carb diet. And it's different than the keto diet because the keto diet is essentially a fat diet with some low to moderate protein and very, very low carbs. This is no carbs, and there is no kind of restriction on how much protein, how much fat, or how many calories that you can eat in any particular time or day. The interesting about it is that you don't have to regulate your calorie intake because you can't eat that much. Like you eat what you can per meal, and a lot of times the satiation between eating like a very heavy, like if you eat 2 ribeyes, you're not going to be hungry for a long time. It takes a long time for your body mechanically to break it down. The enzyme activity, the enzymatic activity that's going to break down the proteins and the amino acids of the steak is going to take some time. And that's to move through your gut. I've been watching a day of carnivore of all these different people. Dr. Sean Baker is like the king of the carnivore diet. Mark Stinky Bell, is big on this as well. He's been doing it for quite some time and does a ton of videos on it. A couple other social media, YouTube influencers have done like a week or 2 or a month of carnivore. This is what happened. Joe Rogan did it. He said like he did like a month.
I've heard of Mark Bell. I haven't heard of Mark Stinky Bell.
Yeah, that's his nickname. Mark Bell his nickname is Stinky Bell.
Stinky?
Yeah, dude. You don't know that? Look it up.
It's interesting you bring this up. I think I wasn't really intentionally doing it, but it just so happens that they're the no-carb foods that I like most. Before my fights, I would say about a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead of time, I'm probably pretty much on a carnivore diet because the no-carb foods that I appreciate most is pretty much meat. So like I'd way rather eat like steak than like, I don't know, something else that's not going to have nuts, something like that. Yeah. So like that's pretty much what I do. I just eat large, like leading up to my fights, I'm eating like large steaks for like
no like fruit.
No, nothing. I don't do carbs.
No veggies.
2 weeks up. No, like I would say week and a half, 2 weeks, no carbs anymore because
this is a fantastic point. Thank you so much, Garry, for saying that because I think a lot of fighters will utilize different diets throughout different phases of their camp because of an intended reason, right? So like Garry, you'll do that for 2 weeks because you want to make weight and you want to like have enough energy to train. You're getting enough calories so you're not losing lean muscle mass. You're getting enough amino acids and protein. But at the same time, you're lowering your carbs. Your glycogen stores are going to lower. You're going to train into a deficit, and you're gonna trim down body fat. You're going to trim down water weight. All the things that we need to do in order to make weight. 100%. And I think every fighter, every athlete does that to certain phases of their training leading up to a competitive event. And I think that's how human beings should think when these kind of things. Like, I am not a fan of the carnivore diet in terms of a lifestyle.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
It doesn't make sense to me from my my schooling and my nutritionist mindset and what I've listened and heard. Like, I know people are really, really gung ho about it, but like, I don't believe in the vegan diet either. I don't think that's sustainable. More than honestly, I think the carnivore diet might be even worse in terms of sustainability for nutrient content. But that being said, I would rather go carnivore for a month than vegan for a month.
Oh yeah, like 10 times.
I actually want to. I want to give it a try. It's not going to be a lifestyle thing. I don't care how.
Want to see how you feel.
I don't care
So
how
you
good
have
I feel. I don't care how good I feel. If it changes my fucking life, I still don't want to do it. Like
Well, it's since you're like a nutritionist, Chris, it's good to have that point of view just to see what it does to you. Okay, so Garry, what do you have for breakfast?
Just eggs mostly.
steak and eggs.
Eggs or steak and eggs. Yeah, if you can find the right place. Sometimes you just can't find. Like usually when I'm fighting and you're in the hotel or whatever, it might be hard to get steak and eggs for breakfast.
But you don't have like a huge steak before a training session, right?
I absolutely will. I have no problem with that.
And you don't feel like lethargic or like slow?
No, meat doesn't do that to me. If anything, carbs do that to me. Like the biggest killer for me is like a Chipotle burrito. I eat a Chipotle burrito, I cannot move for 7.5 hours. Any athletic activity that I do within that period of time will be greatly reduced, and the shit will be terrible. But I've never had a problem with meat leading into a competition, leading into a workout, nothing like. I mean, maybe if I really, really overate, but like just having meat in my stomach doesn't cause.
What's like your steak of choice? Like, what's your cut? What do you like?
Ribeye.
So whenever I go and whenever I'm in these other countries, I often like just splurge like the whole fight week because it's like, all right, well, I'm already restricting my diet. I may as well eat fucking amazing food. Like now's not the time to be fucking thrifty. Like, like let me at least enjoy this calorie restrictive fucking whatever it is that I'm going to be eating. So I often get a tomahawk steak, which is like a huge fucking cut, usually like over 1 kilogram worth of meat. I often don't. I'm not able to finish the whole thing, but depending upon how big it is. But ribeyes are great, especially
a tomahawk is kind of like a bone-in ribeye.
It's a ribeye.
It's very right.
I wouldn't be able to.
It's delicious, man.
My absolute favorite, though, I don't usually have it too much during fight weeks. It's usually not available as much in the Asian countries. Is skirt steak.
I knew you were gonna say that. You know why I knew that? Because you like Malbec. If you like Malbec, you like skirt steak. They go hand in hand.
Yeah,
you might have been Argentinian in a past life.
Yeah, man, I love skirt steak. Like a lot.
I eat steak twice during fight week. Every fight week.
Yeah. It's weird because like skirt steak is almost the opposite of what you would want from most cuts of meat. Like usually when you're trying to get like a tender type of meat, like it's supposed to be soft, melt in your mouth, that sort of thing. But with skirt steak, it's the exact opposite of that. It's actually tough and chewy, but it's got so much flavor.
It's got a lot of flavor.
It's fat. It's got a lot of fat.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You know what skirt steak is? A skirt steak is actually the diaphragm.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the diaphragm of the cow. So it is a in terms of skeletal muscle, like it's a busy muscle, right? So in terms of its endurance quality, like it's dense and it's got a lot of lean meat, but there's also a lot of like fat riddled in there. So that's what gives it that flavor. Because when you cook it at a certain temperature, that's why it always should be medium rare. You should never do it rare because you need to melt that fat into it so it marbleizes. Because you have these lean pieces that are very dense, and then you have these fat slices in between them. Yeah. So you got to cook it so you marbleize and melt the marbleization and make a juicy steak.
Man, I have that cut like twice a week here.
Skirt?
Yeah.
So good.
Latin American countries, that's like.
Yep. That with like a chimichurri sauce or like I like horseradish sometimes as well. I actually prefer skirt steak to like a filet mignon. Like
100%. Filet mignon can suck a dick, bro.
It's very overrated.
Thank you, Frankie.
100%. It's like tender if done right, very tender.
Yeah.
But it's got no flavor. It's just like a block of lean protein.
Yeah,
there you go.
Here's another one: flank steak, chimichurri style Argentinian steak, chimichurri.
Yeah.
Flank would be like a leaner skirt, right?
Yes, it's a leaner skirt. It has a very different shape and different cut, and it has kind of like the outside has almost like a thin layer of flesh on it that gets crispy. Mm-hmm. So flank is a fun piece of meat to eat.
I think flank might be a little bit better than skirt steak. I just wasn't remembering the nomenclature for it. But
flank is a little higher level.
Yeah.
I'm a ribeye guy. I love ribeye. Like I can eat ribeye.
Ribeye is definitely.
Next time we hang out, guys, we got to go to a steakhouse. And
I'm gonna cook you guys steak. Next time you guys hang out, like I will barbecue and.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Whenever hang
steakhouse. I don't do steakhouse.
We'll do that. Man, Chris cooks a mean barbecue, bro. Can't wait.
Grew up doing it like as a child.
All right, motherfuckers. This has been probably the longest podcast ever.
Really?
Yeah.
An hour
Went
and
fast.
13 minutes.
Yeah,
Sick.
that was fun. It was a good
Yeah.
one.
Enjoyed.
All right, biatches.
All right, gentlemen.
Well, it was
Love you
good
guys.
catching up with you
I
guys.
move
Have a good night.
Stay
for
up,
no
players.
man, no man, no man, no
Alright.
man, no
We'll call it a draw.
man, no man.
Just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a